Pro-gun patriots. Do you hate commies, gun grabbers, hippies, and anti-gun nerds? Well, you found the right podcast, folks. This is the Tap Rack Bang podcast, the only podcast that does not compromise on your gun rights, where we allow you, the pro-gun American, to lobby your elected officials against all forms of dumb gun control. I'm Ryan Frasor, your host, and this is my co-host, Tyler Witzke. Welcome to the program, Tyler.
Thanks, Ryan. How you doing?
I'm doing terrific. So, what do we got in store for us today?
Well, since this is our first podcast, I think it'd be the right thing to do is introduce ourselves. So, give us a little background on yourself, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Frasor. I'm a Colorado native, lifelong gun owner. After high school, I joined the Marine Corps, deployed to Afghanistan as an artilleryman, got out, went to college for politics, and found out that I don't like politicians, but I loved the Second Amendment, and that's when I found the National Association for Gun Rights. And every single day, I get to go to work and punish anti-gun politicians in Washington and state capitals across the country. And Tyler Witzke, tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Tyler Witzke. I am a native of the great state of Iowa. I came out here 3 years ago because I love guns and got an awesome job here at NAGR. And I was your typical farm boy back in Iowa, doing the farming thing with corn and cows and that kind of stuff. And I also played a little bit of Division III football in college out there in Iowa. So as my co-host here likes to call me, the tactical tackle. So that's a little bit about myself. What we got next, Frasor?
I think we ought to set up the show. There's a lot of gun channels out there, and there's a lot of politics channels out there. So, people may be wondering, why Tap Rack Bang? Why do we have this podcast? Why should I listen? And I think more than anything, this channel is for people like me who hate politicians, who think politics is boring, but we like our guns and we want to freaking do something about it instead of just sitting around. And that's what this is about. We're going to, have a good time talking about guns, doing cool stuff. We may crush some brewskis from time to time and show off cool guns. But more than anything, we want our viewers to get in the fight. We get paid to do this thing, but we want you guys to raise a ruckus in D.C. or your state capital.
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Could you describe the ruckus, sir?
Make a scene and annoy some politicians, annoy the nerds that work in their offices so they know that they better not be violating our Second Amendment rights. So this show's about you. It's not about us. And, David Chipman, President Biden's ATF director nominee, called us pro-gun bullies, and we own that. And we want you to be pro-gun bullies. So pay attention to the show. Tune in, and we're going to give you the phone numbers of the dorks in Washington who like to take away your gun rights. And we're going to have a good time doing it. Moving on, what's our first segment, Tyler?
What do we got? Bullet points?
We're starting with the bullet points. Before we get going with that, I suppose I should remind everyone to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you want to be part of our pro-gun bully army. Join the fight, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you look below in the description box, we're going to have a lot of links where you can help the show grow. You can become Frontline defenders and, become a member of the National Association for Gun Rights, the most badass, non-compromising gun group in the damn world. But yeah, let's start with the bullet points. This is the segment where we cover what's going on in the world of gun control and gun rights. We actually have good news to report today. It's not just bad stuff. Where are we starting, Tyler? What's news?
I think we should start with Biden's little speech the other night.
Yeah, we're 100 days deep into the Biden's reign of terror. The half-dead puppet that lives in the White House right now. He spent 100 days, and by golly, he owes his presidency to the gun control lobby, and he's clearly doing his damnedest to pay them back for buying him this election. The other night, he went on and addressed Congress, and he just said some stupid anti-gun crap that we got to talk about today. So what did you see that you found the most ridiculous, Tyler?
So the thing that caught my eye, out of most things that caught my eye, was his little speech on magazine bans. He quoted, "To talk most to talk to most responsible gun owners and hunters, they'll tell you there's no possible justification for having 100 rounds in a weapon. What do you think? Deer are wearing Kevlar vests?
Yeah, so Biden thinks you don't need 100 rounds to go hunting, and I think, someone should probably tell that to Wayne LaPierre, but I think Joe Biden's making the classic stupid gun grabber mistake of thinking that the Second Amendment has anything to do with hunting.
It's nothing to do with hunting.
It's a washed up, stupid argument that, what's stupid face up in Minnesota, Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
Amy Klobuchar. What's my uncle in the deer stand care about? That's not what it's about. She's a freaking nerd. Biden's a nerd. It's not about hunting. We know guns are our first line of defense against tyranny. And, he kept going off about 100 rounds. You don't need a 100-round magazine. And in the 90s, we banned 100-round magazines. And that's getting pretty creative with the numbers there, because he didn't just ban 100-round magazines. He banned 11-round magazines, and that's the magazine for basically anybody's pistol. And that's what they want to do again. So they try to come across as reasonable with stupid numbers like 100 rounds, but it's bullshit.
And he's pandering to the so-called FUDs of gun ownership,
That's true. I think the common tactic is to try and divide us in between the hunters and maybe the tactical crowd who like our 30 and 100-round magazines. But, we can't be split up. I'm a hunter, and, you got a bunch of AR-15s. I got a few myself. But, we need to be united against all of this nonsense, because once they take away, 100-round or 30-round or any kind of standard capacity magazines, they're not going to be done there.
Yep. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
It's death by 1,000 cuts.
Exactly.
Yeah. He also talked about ghost guns. What did he say about that, Tyler?
So, to quote Biden, he said, "These are homemade guns made from a kit that includes directions how to finish the firearm."
Directions? That sounds scary.
Wow. Ooh. And have a weapon within 30 minutes. So I would say I'm a novice gunsmith. I built a few AR-15s and that kind of thing. And let me tell you, it takes a lot more time than 30 minutes to build a gun.
Yeah, he's been stupid with the numbers once again. 100-round magazines and guns in 30 minutes. It's all a bunch of malarkey. But again, it's an attack on law-abiding gun owners. Criminals aren't going to follow this law, and to be honest, criminals aren't making their own guns. Like, what do you think? The Crips and Bloods have a little hobby shop where they're home building AR-15s. It's bullshit. And
yeah, it's completely ridiculous.
Again, it's about control, not about guns.
Exactly. And criminals aren't going to take the time to do the milling on 80% receiver or check the headspace to make sure that their gun is safe to fire. It's absolutely ridiculous what Biden's calling for. What else did he say, Frasor?
Let's see here. Oh, well, like we had mentioned before, he continued to brag about his 1990s gun bans, that he was a key senator involved with passage of it. He said, in the 90s, we passed universal background checks, a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines that hold 100 rounds that can be fired off in seconds. Thank God his stupid assault weapons ban was allowed to expire 10 years later. And, since then we've seen a pretty badass proliferation of assault. I keep falling into using their words. They're, ordinary rifles that everyone owns.
Right.
And now, every house in America damn near has an AR-15, and people are fine with them.
Right, and I've seen some preliminary numbers, because before the 90s assault weapons ban, there was something like 20 million assault rifles in circulation. Now there's like over 400 million. It just shows that vast majority of gun owners will not support an assault weapons ban, regardless of what Joe Biden tells you.
Yeah, it's nonsense. But like we said before, his campaign was bought and paid for by Gun Control Inc., and he's trying to pay him back. And thanks to the pro-gun bullies out there who follow NAGR on all our social media platforms, who read our letters and read our mail and take action to put the pressure on the senators, who's they're the ones who can really make sure that this either happens or doesn't happen. the activism of our members has been inspiring. We're out here, sorting out the petitions they send to us and delivering them to the senators. And Biden hasn't been able to pass a damn thing through the Senate. And it's pretty funny to see. And, he's having a hissy fit there in the White House. And, Bloomberg's got him on the phone saying, come on, Joe, you promised us gun control. What the hell? And these are acts of desperation, and it's all political grandstanding. But, he can't do crap as long as we keep doing our job. So I invite all of you to continue following NAGR on all of our platforms. And, every time we, give you a call to action, take that action because it works. And it's just funny, continuing to cause him to have little hissy fits.
Right.
Just
and
like this.
If you want to join in on the fight, just go to nationalgunrights.org, sign up to be a member. I mean, it's absolutely critical that we have every Second Amendment loving American on board with us to fight Joe Biden's radical agenda.
Yeah. So I think I've had about enough of talking about and thinking about Joe Biden.
Let's talk about some good stuff.
Yeah, good news. What's the good news these days?
So in Texas, they're fighting to become the 21st constitutional carry state. And if you didn't know what constitutional carry was, if you're new here, constitutional carry is the ability to carry a firearm openly or concealed without having to beg the government for a permission slip or paying a ridiculous fee. So we currently have 20 states with, what was it, like 4 of them this year already. We got
we are making it rain constitutional carry this year. People are pissed off about Biden being in the presidency, and they see the writing on the walls that people are trying to push gun control, but at the state level, people have been inspiringly active, and it's pretty amazing to see. But it's ridiculous to think that Texas is going to be, hopefully, if things go well, it's still got to make it through the Senate and the governorship. But people think of Texas as this bastion of gun rights,
and it's not.
And it hasn't been. Yeah, 20 states, including, Maine and Vermont, are ahead of Texas on this common sense legislation that, most states you can carry a gun open, but you put your coat on and instantly you're a criminal. It's a bunch of malarkey.
Exactly.
But yeah, get with the program, Texas. Pro-gun Texans have been kicking ass. Chris McNutt and Texas Gun Rights, our state affiliate down there in the Lone Star State, are doing the good work. We got patriots like Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, who's hopping on board and helping push this thing through, and it's super inspiring to see.
Right. And so yesterday, the constitutional carry bill, House Bill 1927, passed through the the Senate Special Committee on the Constitution. Some weird committee that was created pretty much for this bill. It passed through 5-1, and now it's onto the Senate floor to vote. So we need every Texan to get on Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and just.
It's not the one from ESPN,
right? Just give him a call. I don't know if we'll flash his number on the bottom of the screen, but he is the main gatekeeper in the Senate, and he brings the bills up to vote.
Master, the gatekeeper.
Exactly. And so Governor Abbott in Texas has already signaled he would sign it if it came to his desk. So
yeah, and that's a new development too.
Is.
He can feel the heat. These people know that not taking a stand for gun rights is a career decision, and he may have aspirations of something higher, and he knows that the last thing he wants is a whole bunch of pro-gun Texas pissed off about him when it's time to go to the polls.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. So finally some good news out of Texas,
Yeah, exactly. Especially, I mean, it's been a decade-long battle there at least, because we've been dealing with the whole Dennis Bonansaga and Chris McNutt. That was a whole ordeal in itself that killed constitutional carry in 2019. And now it looks like our year, and with the way the state is going to turn, in the next elections, God forbid, this might be our last shot. So we need
so
to,
even if you're not a Texan, call Dan Patrick or follow our emails, and we've been sending out ways that you can get involved, because something good happening in Texas is good for everyone. Other states have been looking at Texas, and they're like, well, if Texas doesn't even have constitutional carry, why should we?
Right.
It's good for the whole fight. We're stuck here in Colorado living under some commie gun laws right now. But, we're rooting for Texas because maybe down the road, if things go our way, it'll work out. And either way, more freedom for more Americans is a damn good thing.
Right.
And that's what we're all about here. So get in the fight, America.
Definitely.
Yeah. So moving on from the news of the day, we have a segment that we want to start doing on a regular basis called Inside the Waistband, where we whip out one of our own concealed carry firearms and talk about it, riff about it, talk about the pros and cons. We invite everyone, if you want to talk crap about it or whatever, leave a comment below. Today we have the Tactical Tackle Tyler Witzke's pistol here on the desk. What you carrying these days, Tyler?
So this is basically my everyday carry here in the office. I like to carry openly in the office just for, the sake of having enough rounds to defend myself and whatnot. So I have a Canik TP9 SF. It's full size.
Canik, aren't those from Turkey?
Yeah, I get a lot of crap from that in the office.
Did that pistol travel here by flying carpet or by camel, Tyler?
Both. Both. But anyway, it's a 9mm handgun. It shoots wonderfully. It's a great value if you're looking to get a full size pistol. And I would say it's a Glock killer, to be honest. It's like half the price.
Big words from a big man.
Right. I'm gonna get a lot of hate from that in the comments. But until you try one, you won't know. And I've had zero malfunctions with this gun. It has been cleared, as you can see on the table. For those of you watching, don't come at me in the comments. But the triggers on these are like the best striker fired triggers I've ever personally handled, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It has everything I need, nothing I don't. It's pretty base. I might get some night sights for it later on, but
good call for anyone.
Right. So I mean, it's accurate enough, and I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a modern striker-fired polymer frame handgun. You take any of these guns apart, whether they're Glocks, Smith & Wesson, SIGs, or Caniks, and the internals are all identical. So you're getting a modern striker-fired polymer frame for, pennies on the dollar compared to some of the Gucci brands that are out there. So as much as we like to hate on the fact that you're carrying a gun from the Middle East,
I think we should have a shootout, me and your SIG. See you go the longest without a malfunction, or see who's more accurate.
Well, yeah, since 9mm is so readily available these days,
that's true.
I think it's easy for all of us to just get our hands on a couple thousand rounds, because that's what it's going to take for either of these to screw up, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, and I hope all of you out there are jealous that we work at an office where Tyler can carry openly and it's encouraged, and
yeah,
our little circle of freedom in this building within occupied Colorado, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a safe place for guns,
It does. Commies stay out.
Yeah. Governor Polis, stay out.
Yeah. Nah, good stuff. Good stuff. Our next segment on the show, finishing up Inside the Waistband. Let's get out of Tyler's waistband and move it along to
please
get out of my pants. Moving on. Gross. I have disgusting thoughts in my mind, and I'm trying to get away from it. I'm gonna have to slaughter a pig after this show to.
Hey,
to
I didn't
really
put those
clear my
thoughts in
mind.
my.
Yeah.
I didn't put those thoughts in your mind. That was all you, man.
Shooting blanks. Shooting blanks is the next segment on this show, since we're trying to clean things up a bit. Shooting blanks is the section on this show where we dive into the wild and wacky world of gun control. And, we don't get to look ahead at what our producers here are showing us, but they're going to, whether it's quotes or social media posts or new gun control measures that are, just thank God there are these heroes out there that can save us from ourselves. And, we'll see what that's all about today. So, Tyler, let's open up this week's edition of Shooting Blanks. So who do we have here? Read for me so I don't look stupid.
So we got Glenn Kirshner on Twitter. Glenn said, how many people have been shot and injured or killed as a result of a few Supreme Court justices doing mental/semantic gymnastics to find a way to ignore first 13 words of the Second Amendment? Quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, end quote. So Phil Butta That's a wild name, Phil. He replied, said, it's almost as if the 2A was written to address the state's right to protect itself. And in that context, the state can bear arms. Remember, back then, the states were still being run like the independent entities unto themselves.
Nerd! That's what I read from this. I like that Glenn likes to say that, the Supreme Court ignored the first 13 words of the Second Amendment while he blatantly ignores the entire second half, leaving it out entirely of his quote, the right of the people. I'm a people. Are you a people?
I'm a people.
Are you a people?
Yeah,
They're people.
They're people.
We're all people. To keep, and bear arms. Bear means carry. We got a cool bill in our lawsuit going to the Supreme Court right now that the National Foundation for Gun Rights, our legal foundation, is heavily involved in. That directly addresses, the fact that the Constitution also says, you can bear arms, you can carry it outside of your home. It's the New York State Rifle Pistol Association versus the state of New York.
Is it the state or is it the city? It's one or the other.
State, yeah.
State?
Okay. New York. At any rate, yeah, I don't know. I think what I take away from this clown is that he accuses gun owners and the Supreme Court of ignoring the first half of the Second Amendment while blatantly ignoring the second half.
Right. You got to read it in its entirety, and I think a lot of people do, but education doesn't do much in the world of politics. So
yeah, but it's about hunting deer. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Joe
they got
Biden,
those
deer with Kevlar vests on.
Yeah,
and that's what it's about.
They make all that money so they can purchase body armor.
That's right.
So weird.
I don't know. I think the only deer that actually need to have Kevlar vests on are the ones outside of Joe Biden, Mr. Fire 2 blasts off your porch's backyard.
Well, that depends if he can hit them because he's just firing straight in the air.
Yeah, I don't know, but if I was a deer living outside of Biden's residence, I think I would wear a Kevlar vest.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
All right.
Barf.
Freddie Robles. Well, first he's answering Chuck Schumer, so let's read Chuck Schumer's quote.
Okay.
Breaking. The Senate just passed the Drinking Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Act of 2021. What the hell? Because American families, especially low-income families, must have access to safe and clean drinking water.
Whatever.
All right. Freddie Robles replied, now let's do some real policy change like gun control, dark money out of politics, police reform, climate change, voting rights protection.
Yeah. I don't know what that had to do with drinking water, but I like that gun control and police reform are in the exact same tweet. Like we want to defund the police, but while cities are getting burned down, we also want to make sure that you can't defend yourself. Pretty genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Freddie.
How do the leftists think that people are going to defend themselves if they, defund the police and they want gun control? You can't have a firearm to protect yourself. Fine, the police are minutes, even sometimes hours away, and let's defund them so they can't even protect us.
I don't know. Well, they have absolute gun control in prisons, and people are, completely safe from violence there. Yeah. So I get it. You're right, Freddie. You know what's best. Thanks, Freddie.
You're shooting blanks.
Freddie is shooting blanks.
All right, let's move on.
Ooh,
there's our man.
All right, what do we got, Tyler?
Mo Brooks tweeted, I'm co-sponsoring H.R. 2890, a great bill by Representative Thomas Massey that repeals a law that currently prevents adults under 21 from buying a handgun. So, Thomas Massey thanked him. Obviously, Thomas Massey is one of our great allies in Congress. He's the chair.
There is no greater friend to the Second Amendment in Washington than Thomas Massey. So
right.
We salute you, Rep. Massey.
So
no, this is outstanding, and while people are trying to save ourselves from ourselves and disarming the population or whatever, here's somebody with common sense who says, you're an 18-year-old, single mother or whatever. I was 18 when I shipped off to the Marine Corps. I was under 21 when I was serving in Afghanistan, carrying a M16 with an M203 grenade launcher on it.
But badass.
Bet your ass it is, Tyler. I'm a bad dude. But I got home, or before I shipped out. I got home when I was 21. Before I shipped out, I couldn't buy a handgun.
Right.
Yeah. So again, saving ourselves from ourselves. I can, could drive a tank. I could shoot machine guns. I can go fight terrorists, but can't buy a handgun. Finally, someone with common sense saying, you're in every other aspect, aside from liquor laws, you're an adult. You can have kids. There's single mothers that are under the age of 21 who live in some of these, Democrat-run cities that are just burning down and in complete decay, and we're saying that you can't buy and carry a pistol to defend yourself and your children. It's a bunch of nonsense, and this is the type of legislation that we here at NAGR love to see.
Right.
Yeah. Good
However,
stuff from Mo Brooks and Thomas Massey.
However, Thomas Massey and Mo Brooks are not the ones shooting blanks here.
Nope.
The Beast of Burden. All right, that's a funky name. The Beast of Burden replied to Thomas Massey saying, weak men that can't fight need guns. Pussies. All right. Well, have fun defending yourself without a gun, bud.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, and that's the thing. What does that have to do with weak men or anything? We already talked about it's the 20-year-old single mother. Are you calling her a pussy? Beast of Burden, if that is your real name?
You, sir, are shooting blanks.
Beast of Burden is shooting blanks. I can fight. I'm a strong enough fella. Tyler, you're a big old boy. Looks like you've eaten some corn in your day.
I have.
Yeah. Can you fight?
Yeah.
I can fight. I'll fight my way out of a paper bag.
Yeah. This is absolutely
heinous.
We're
We're both big dudes. We can both fight, but by golly, if someone comes for my family, my fists are the least of their concern.
If I'm looking to defend myself, I'm looking for the easiest means possible. If say you're trying to defend your family, you have an intruder in the middle of the night, he has a gun, what are you going to do? Fist fight him? No, he's going to blow your head off.
Yeah. No, I don't want a fair fight when some jabroni breaks into my house, coming after me and my pregnant wife. My fists are the least of his concern, and he better pray that it's a quick death from my gun.
Exactly.
Now, I don't know if he's ever seen Pulp Fiction, but breaking into my place would be just as terrible as breaking into that pawn shop.
Hold it right there.
I've seen your guns. You got some pretty sweet guns, and definitely put a hurting on those intruders and whatnot.
Yeah. All right, is that our last nerd shooting blanks for the day? It looks like it is. Yep. Okay, so this has been our inaugural episode of the Tap Rack Bang podcast. We invite you to tune in every week and, stay tuned to all correspondence from the National Association for Gun Rights. And, be on board. We're going to have some fun moving forward. We're going to have a good time, and we want you all to be ready so we can dispatch you to, put some political hurt on those commies in Washington that want to take your guns. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell before you wrap up. Check out this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for being with me, Tyler.
Yeah, no problem. And just a reminder, if you guys want to support the channel, go to nagr.link/TRB. If you would like to become a frontline defender and defend the Second Amendment day in, day out, just be one of those first people we call when we need help, go to nagrfld.org and sign up to be a member today. I think that wraps it up.
Bye.